The scene began with Erica Mena searching through a pile of sealed DNA folders from a whisper unsettled camera position. Panic was a mask on her face. Fans are taken aback, thoughts whirling. Was it evidence of a well-planned act of sabotage or a covert scandal? As the video surfaced and revealed Erica's shaking hands, emotions were running high, tearing apart envelopes, bits of paper flying about like confetti. With voices shouted in anxious whispers, producers hurried off camera. Was it someone else, or did Erica really wish to erase the evidence? Yanking the strings as stories circulated, the family became split. According to some sources, Erica was attempting to conceal a paternity scandal, while others maintained that a rival cast member set her up in order to maximum dramatic effect. One thing became evident as social media feeds surged and phones rang. This wasn't just a manufacturing error. Everyone is wondering who stands to gain from these lost data, and who will pay the price when the truth emerges. As we explore the pandemonium behind the scenes, unearth contradictory testimony, and pose the crucial question, stay tuned. Is there a genius behind the ultimate DNA file collapse, or was Erica Mena acting alone? Erica stood backstage, her hands shaking. The paperwork is covered in deep shadows from the antiseptic buzz of the production truck lights. She gripped the white manila envelopes with the confidential stamp on them, included the DNA findings that might change the definition of many relationships on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, rumors, murmurs of covert paternity testing, covert betrayals, and a scandal so explosive that it might alter the whole cast dynamic, startle fans. When the unapproved camera angle saw Erica searching through the files and ripping off their edges with an almost palpable sense of desperation, emotions were running. I doubt Erica had been nervous in the days before the retreat. She had overheard rumors that someone was unsure about Kai's biological paternity. She whispered to Carly read about her worries over coffee. I am unable to. She stirred her coffee and admitted, shake this feeling. So hard that it rippled the foam. What if Mondesi's DNA findings reveal more than we currently understand? Akali brushed a lock of platinum blonde hair behind her ear as she shrugged. You know how sensitive he is, girl, so don't start that mess. But Erica, who was usually the investigator, was unable to ignore it. Under the pretense of discussing a scene, she sneaked into the production office that afternoon and discovered the locked cabinet containing the papers. She was caught in the light of a flickering fluorescent bulb by Amber, a junior producer. Why are you back here, Erica? Amber trembled in her voice with her heart pounding. Erica faked a grin. Just checking on some documents. Related to continuity. Lying, she tapped the door of the cupboard. Amber nodded and backed off along the corridor, hesitating as suspicion began to grow. With her heart thumping in her ears, Erica let out a breath. The DNA envelope was sealed and unlabeled within the cabinet, ready to be unveiled on television and disclose secrets that might split families. Pulling one free, she looked at the names printed on the top. Kai Frost, Scott Mendez. The inference was obvious, but the others were out of sight. Later that evening, personal lives were going to make the main page. In a dimly lit coffee shop close to the studio lot, Erica met with Tasha K., a reliable confidant. Erica handed the envelope across the table, and everyone's eyes widened. Erica, said Laketis. As she leaned closer, Tasha grasped the paper with a trembling palm and said, It's the proof I've been looking for. She said, If this gets out, it's big. Mendez will lose his mind. Yandy is going to feel deceived. Rashida and Kirk caught in the crossfire. Erica felt a throb of emotion in her chest. She was aware of the influence the documents had. She urged, We have to protect ourselves, and put a plastic sleeve over the package. The next morning, there were rumors that the data had disappeared. If someone leaks this, it'll ruin everything. While team members searched every inch of the set, production paused. The executive producer screamed, Where did they go? Pacing as the live feeds were shown on the monitors. Who was able to access it? Fingers pointed, whispers circled. Presuming to be shocked, Erica joined the search team. Her eyes darted from the terrified crew to the closed cabinet, now empty. Someone managed to catch her moment of terror as the cameras rolled. Her eyes tightened, and she hesitated before looking around the room for anybody who could be watching. Fans analyzed every scene, certain that Erica was concealing something. Despite producers' subsequent claims that it was an innocent reply, Sierra, a competing cast member, sensed an opening among the confusion. She tweeted something mysterious. Files are gone, yet secrets are still there. Are you aware of who you are? The social media stream went viral. Supporters choose sides. Others stood up for Erica, claiming she must have been attempting to prevent the evidence from being leaked. She was accused by others of planning the disappearance. as rumors circulated that Erica had tampered with the DNA findings to hide a scandal involving her own family. Emotions were running high. Photos of Erica's mother and father seeming upset during a surprise appearance on stage caused the family to become split. Her mother told a local blogger, "We are heartbroken," while crying, "It never occurred to us that our daughter would become involved in such a problem." Yandy approached Erica in a private group conversation. With fingers, she asked, "What's going on?" Soaring over the keyboard, there was a foreboding quiet before Erica eventually spoke. "Fans are calling you a I did what I had to do." That succinct but impactful remark added gasoline to the flames. Yandy's reply came seconds later. "Later. Evidence must be removed if you want us to be safe." Mendes plays again the video of Erica opening the cabinet. With a trembling smile behind the scenes in his trailer, in a betrayed tone, he contacted Kirk Frost and demanded explanations, declaring, "She was my friend." He punched his green room's walls. Despite his lack of comfort, Kirk consented to meet with Yandy and Erica in the hopes of mediating the issue before it got out of hand. Producers discovered a smoldering trash can behind the set the night before the following shoot thanks to an anonymous tip: burned edges, illegible scrolls, pieces of evidence that may never be rebuilt, and pieces of the DNA envelopes were concealed in charred paper. The word spread very immediately. DNA data were discovered, burned. Fans let out a gasp. Pictures become viral. Conspiracy. There was a flurry of theories. Was Erica attempting to conceal her own covert paternity claim? Or had the damaged papers been planted by someone to discredit her and divert attention from another scandal? Erica apologized in front of the cameras, her eyes sparkling and her voice faltering. "I had no intention of destroying evidence." She said that I was defending someone I care about. Her speech seemed too polished and practiced. The audience summoned damage control after seeing the practiced tone. Amber said to a reporter backstage that she had seen another staff member grinning and filing their nails next to the garbage. Late at night, whispering, "It wasn't Erica," Amber looked over her shoulder. "I'm not telling who, but it wasn't her." A new round of speculations was sparked by that quick admission. Internal sabotage. A master puppet, twisting ropes in secret. Fans filled the comments. Who is the true antagonist, evidence or sabotage? Is she an imposter or Erica? Loyalty changed more quickly than a narrative surprise in the season finale, raising intense emotions. Some started supporting Erica by highlighting her integrity and posting videos of her early charitable endeavors. Others dredged out past interviews, where Erica talked about privacy and respect, distorting her words to bolster charges of guilt. The controversy had evolved into a cultural phenomenon that went beyond the event. The rainbow of charges, denials, and downright incredulity. Through it all, Erica fled to a peaceful guest home near the studio, accompanied by just Meneses and a few devoted companions. Haunted by the pieces of burnt files she'd seen in the garbage, she walked the hardwood floors late at night while raking her hands through her hair. The phone was constantly buzzing with texts. Fans were startled. Insiders claimed that Amber's confession is still being heard and that there are fresh developments. Who could she trust? She wondered. The weight of the missing DNA findings weighed down on her like an anchor. And she saw in her mirror a person who had been changed by mistrust and was prepared to doubt her own intentions. A video clip appeared on a fan site just when it seemed like the controversy might subside. The original files were slipped into a rival cast member's luggage by a shady stranger. The video was intriguing despite being blurry. It was a gloved, thin, feminine hand. The crowd went wild. Watch her go, not Erica, of course. Sabotage was verified. The fresh perspective brought Erica back into the public eye and revived the probe. Before dawn, the cameras were rolling once again. As producers were ready to broadcast the special program, the team was working feverishly. Every footfall reverberated across the studio's lengthy hallways, making even the normal conversation seem uncomfortable. Silence descended among the cast. The executive producer's voice crackled across the stage as he said, "We're here to get to the bottom of the missing files. Speakers, no more. Speakers, no more. Secrets." When Erica Mena walked onto the set, the mood was intense. Mendes and a small group of legal advisors flanked him. Her dark, plain clothing appeared to accentuate her nervousness. Her eyes darted to the storage unit where the data had been locked away, and she faked a little grin at the cameras. A fierce, experienced journalist who leaned toward the microphone asked the first question. "Could you tell me why you were seen looking through those DNA packets, Erica?" The crowd held its breath. Erica's mouth quivered. "I approached the files because I was concerned about the integrity of the results," she murmured. "I wasn't going to ruin them." was confirming their legitimacy. A whisper echoed across the audience. As rumors circulated, the family became split. After that, the presenter presented the security footage frame by frame, emphasizing Erica's unsteady hands. Was this damage control or the unadulterated truth? Fans are taken aback by these pictures. The dramatic music rising was intoned by him. When the video shifted to Amber confessing that she had seen someone else next to the dumpster, the audience gasped. The reporter asked, "Can you comment on Amber's statement?" With a short breath, Erica's shoulders slumped. "I didn't realize Amber had seen someone else," she said, her voice breaking. The unfiltered anguish in her voice as she said, "I only know what was on camera," implied vulnerability, but doubt hung over it like a dark cloud. Yandy and Rashidita backstage grimly watched the transmission on a monitor. When Yandy saw Erica sob during interrogation, she covered her lips with her hand. Rashida touched her friend's shoulder in a comforting manner. Their previous reconciliation served as a reminder that turmoil was a part of everyone's life. "We must remain with each other," Rashida murmured. Yandy nodded while keeping her gaze fixed on the TV. Already, fans were splitting the internet community with intense fervor by tweeting #AMEA or #Erica guilty. A surprise witness was presented. As the panel moved, Erica's drive-through confession confidant, Tasha K., she had a manila folder and left in a clean jacket. When she said, "I have the unedited files," the studio was filled with gasps. The presenter motioned for the folder to be brought to the stage. When Tasha opened it, she saw immaculate envelopes marked confidential. The camera zoomed in when she removed the seal. There was no indication of manipulation in the DNA findings. The eyes of Erica tearful. "This is proof," proclaims Tasha. "Observe the condition. There are no burns or tears." The family was split apart once again. Others screamed that Tasha had been bought off. Others applauded, feeling glad that Erica could not guilty. However, the lights dimmed and the stream shifted to cast members' pre-recorded interviews before anybody could catch their breath. First to emerge was Kirk Frost, his face tense with worry. "I have no idea what Erica was thinking," he said. "However, I am aware that she is not the kind to obliterate proof." He cast a sidelong look toward Chimera, suggesting a secret plot point. Sierra followed, who she leaned forward and grinned. She hinted that perhaps someone wanted the data deleted to prevent a covert paternity from becoming viral on national television. The crowd twitched uneasily. Her comment sowed fresh doubts in everyone's minds. The scene returned to Erica, who seemed composed yet resolute. "I recognize the conjecture," she murmured quietly. "However, I would want to correct the record. Evidence was not destroyed by me. I was, if anything, attempting to keep someone safe." She glanced over to Mendez, who was sitting peacefully next to her. His arms were clenched, his jaw crossed. He stood up and turned to the cameras when it was his time to talk. He started, "I've known Erica for years, always had a protecting nature. Instead of burning the data, she would have sounded the alert if any were missing." His support was significant. Supporters put their weight behind him with remarks like "loyalty runs deep." The host abruptly left just as the mood seemed balanced. The next shocking revelation, a leaked email exchange in which producers speculated that the missing files may have been a PR gimmick to increase viewership. The screen flickered to the email excerpt. To create excitement, think of a controlled leak. During the most recent controversy, audience participation increased. Outrage erupted throughout the studio. Backstage, producers were involved in frenzied conversations. Some detectives have already posted the hot mic recordings of their hushed disputes online. As spectators became aware that the whole controversy may have been staged, emotions were running high. In the midst of the tumult, a show that sacrifices truth on the altar of drama, a blurry video clip of a shadowy figure setting up a tiny gadget in the archival room appeared. It was a choppy clip. The movement was obvious despite the uncomfortable perspective. Something being slipped inside the filing cabinet by someone wearing a lanyard. Debating whether the gloved hands matched Erica's, fans stopped and slowed down. The video, conspiracy theories proliferated. Was the mastermind an overzealous producer looking to boost ratings, a renegade crew member wanting retribution, or a rival cast member? The household was left split once again, finding it difficult to distinguish reality from imagination. While seeing the footage, Erica's breath caught in her throat and she said, face-palmed, "The producers demanded an inquiry right once. Every corridor had security footage brought in. Torn between honesty and devotion, Amber was called back to the stage. As the strain increased, she finally broke down and told what she had seen. The individual on the video was not Erica. Rather, it was a much shorter person in a dark sweatshirt. The realization caused everyone to exhale in relief from a new wave of perplexity. Cast members looked at each other, Sounds of whispers bounced off the walls as real-time alliance changes occurred. A cliffhanger marked the conclusion of the episode. Viewers were eagerly awaiting the following episode after the executive producer assured them that the real perpetrator will be revealed in the season finale. As the credits rolled, the lights went down and the sound of dramatic music continued to reverberate. Behind the scenes, tears were flowing down Erica's face as she fell into a chair. Rashida and Yandy stood alongside, silently supporting her as Mendez held her. Once put to the test by rumors and treachery, their relationship had been strengthened by public scrutiny. However, they were aware that the last act had not yet demanded that truth has the ability to burst back into view after being buried. Erica says as the inquiry progressed and her fatigue grew, she pored over the burned fragments that were found in the trash throughout the morning. Sorting ash and pieces of paper had left her fingers numb. Her heart was pulled by every fragile fragment, a distressing reminder of documents she had never intended to delete. Even after Amber came clean, there were still rumors that Erica had planned the fire in some way. Feelings were strong among the employees of the production. In the corridors, several people wouldn't speak to her. Others glanced at her approach with sympathy, but turned their heads away. The family found themselves split once again. Mendesi was standing next to her. However, she saw a glimmer of uncertainty in his eyes whenever there were no cameras in motion. The executive producer convened a private meeting in the afternoon. With monitors lining the walls and playing continuous replays of the original film, the screening room was filled with dozens of cast members and crew members. His voice was tight yet steady as he cleared his throat. "We're at a turning point," he said. "The integrity of our tale is what this season is all about. We need openness from all parties." Hands sprang up with accusations and queries. While Kirk Frost pushed for a thorough investigation of security records, Rashida insisted on knowing why Erica had been by herself near the files. Like static, the tension crackled. Until the producer turned to face her, Erica remained mute. As she said, her voice wavered. "I never gave the go-ahead for demolition. Someone posing as a producer forced me off camera. Before I panicked, I believed I could safeguard the evidence." As she described a shadowy person shouting commands into her ear while wearing a dark hoodie, the place became quiet. She had taken a stranger for real personnel. Later, with a pale face, Amber went up to Erica outside the studio doors. She handed Erica a little tape recorder and said, "You need to listen to this. That evening I overheard a chat." Eric's pulse raced as she hit play after the individual who placed those files confessed to framing you. "She would take the fall," a distorted voice said. "If we make it look like Erica snapped, no one will think twice." Erica's blood went cold as she realized that more than one person wanted her out of the picture, and a second voice chuckled icily a few moments later. She concealed the recorder in her pocket, assuring Amber that she would use it to clear her reputation. Erica met with Mondays and a few devoted followers as the sun set, creating deep shadows over the parking lot. Mendes gripped her hand as Erica played the tape for them, and they clustered around a laptop, the distorted sounds chilling the gathering. "We can't allow them to control the story any longer. We need to identify who that is," he replied softly. Determination sparked in Erica's eyes. She knew that she would have to expose the saboteur to preserve her reputation, even if it meant disclosing secrets that may harm more than one person. The next morning, Erica sneaked back into the archive room, being cautious not to attract any attention. She had seen that the door hung open a little, like ajar, and that there was a secret security camera above the file cabinet, with its lens pointed at the DNA packets. Juan claimed to have the access and the motivation to delete the evidence, so she detached it and took out the memory card, hoping it included video of the person wearing the hoodie. Her thoughts raced as she gripped the card. Was it someone who was resentful of the Frost family? Or envious of her success? "I think this is the proof you need," Erica stated steadily as she handed the memory card to the executive producer, who put it into his laptop and hit play. A few hours later, the production office was a flurry of activity. In the blurry video, a figure with a distinctive gait and size could be seen slinking into the room at midnight, gloved hands searching through the data before shoving them into a rucksack. When the person turned, the audience gathering around the screen gasped and saw the faint trace of a haircut that matched one of the less well-known crew members. Jason, a sound technician who often argued with Erica about shoot instructions and scheduling. Producers approached Jason when his face flashed on TV, sending shockwaves through the room and raising concerns about why he would do this. Jason broke in after he denied participation right away, and his alibi was blown when Amber and another assistant producer admitted to seeing him close to the trash that same evening. His voice trembled as he said, "I was promised a promotion." If I helped orchestrate a ratings boost, the actors was shocked to learn that Erica was too polished and controlled, that they needed drama, and that I needed the position. The repercussions was quick, and Jason was removed off the set. The mastermind had been in plain sight, utilizing Erica's terror to build a fabricated controversy. The executive producer accepted responsibility, acknowledging that several executives had approved the prank without taking into account the emotional cost. We lost sight of humanity in the pursuit of sensational content, he stated, his voice shaking as he signed suspension papers in front of cameras. Mendez put his arms around her and kissed her gently on the temple as Erica watched him talk, relief washing over her as the skepticism finally subsided. The ensemble assembled in the central courtyard of the studio, where Erica stood on a platform, and Rashida and Yandy exchanged relieved grins, their prior concerns wiped away by the reality, yet the triumph seemed bittersweet. Today we learned the truth about the missing DNA data, she said, addressing the camera squarely in a composed but determined tone. This was never about one individual sabotaging. The use of our private lives as a weapon to increase ratings was a concerted endeavor. I apologize to everyone I doubted, even those who supported me, and I regret my worry and quiet. The audience erupted in cheers and tears as she revealed her secret. Supportive comments were sent by viewers at home, who praised her bravery and openness. The producer made an unexpected revelation as the cameras panned out, showing the whole group standing together behind Erica. Going forward, we'll be taking action to protect our cast's privacy and dignity. Sensational plans are over. The crew cheered enthusiastically, expecting that the age of fabricated war was over. Erica glanced at the faces of people she had previously seen as enemies, standing as witnesses in the days after her vindication. Unique disclosure. Authentic storytelling, not controversy, is the reason for the show's low ratings. Erica's path from suspicion to vindication struck a chord with viewers, seeing in her fear and tenacity echoes of their own experiences. In frank conversations, Erica, Mendez, Rashida, and Yandy spoke about the value of loyalty above ratings and the significance of the truth over sensationalism. The story had changed. The decision to finally choose integrity was a source of pride for fans of their favorite reality program. As the season went on, the DNA file controversy turned into a pivotal moment that taught us the value of being truthful and the perils of pretending to be dramatic, unhaunted by burnt paper or whispered theories. Erica returned to the set with a newfound sense of confidence. As a reminder, she kept the recorder in her pocket. Once the truth is grasped, it may never really quieted down. The next morning, feeling the weight of every whisper that followed her down the hallways, Erica walked onto the set. Even if it was validated in front of the yet, uncertainty still hung over her like a dark cloud. She saw crew members looking at each other fervently as she passed the trailers. They averted their gazes when she came into contact with them. No direct sabotage charges have been brought against her. However, every unanswered question and every piece of burned paper that reappeared in internet rumors fed the rumor mill. At the edge of the soundstage, she stopped, inhaled deeply, and told herself that truth was not necessarily a cause for celebration. It seemed burdensome with duty at times. The daytime scenes were planned to coincide with family discussions, written to highlight vulnerability and reconciliation. Rashida and Yandy were sitting in the room when Erica walked in. The two pals were talking quietly while leaning close to each other. Erica joined them when the cameras were rolling, and she gave her lines with sincerity. However, the performers' eyes locked in an unconscious recognition of how reality had influenced their performance in between takes. Erica traced the shape of her water glass on the table as she dropped her eyes. She questioned if the audience back home would see the brittleness of the ties that had developed behind the scenes, looking beyond the stage grins. Later, during lunch break, Amber stealthily entered the makeup trailer, leaving Erica alone. Amber muttered, "I apologize for this morning," as she took a seat in the corner. Despite the obvious video, individuals continue to ask questions. With a tired grin, Erica said, "I understand. It seems like they want to delve further the more evidence we provide." Amber stopped, then said quietly, "There's always someone ready to twist your intentions." She nodded, her face etched with displeasure. "Sometimes I wonder whether it was worth it to dig out the truth. But you showed the world who you really are, and that's what matters." Erica closed her eyes for a while, allowing Amber's words to settle before responding. "The cost has beyond my expectations." When filming restarted, Mendez was there to comfort her, and they captured a moment in which he held her hand tenderly and pledged her allegiance. In the face of uncertainty, the screenplay mirrored their own experiences, making it difficult to distinguish between fact and fiction. "We'll get through this," the director said as he held Erica's hand. "I believe you," she muttered. Even while a quiver of nervousness remained in her chest, she leaned into his embrace, finding strength in his resolve. Every sentence seemed like a lifeline tossed into dangerous seas to Erica, even if the audience could view it as contrived romance. That evening, the group got together for a roundtable discussion. The studio audience gathered with eagerness in their seats for the debate and unscripted session to tackle the topic head-on. The presenter presented the panel, which included Erica Mena, Yandy, Rashida, and a representative from production. During the conversation, Erica spoke up about her anxiety upon first handling the sealed envelopes, the stress that caused her to rip through the data, and the pleasure she had upon exposing the perpetrator. The crowd drew closer and listened intently to her every word as she described the midnight. "Fans are shocked," they whispered. "Families were split up, the cast member exchanges went awry, the personal lives were ruined, and the tape was exploited to frame her. Exposed for amusement." However, as the discussion was about to reach its climax, a producer from backstage halted it with a pressing message. Erica took a tiny envelope with a shaking